For where two or more are gathered in my name, there am I among them. Feel the presence and power of Spirit surround and engulf you at this very moment. Feel the arms of Spirit embrace you as it says, "You are my beloved. In you, I am well pleased." Feel the presence of Spirit as it protects and feeds you physically, intellectually, and spiritually. Know the power of Spirit is in you. All you have to do is ask, and Spirit will respond with yes. Yes, you are abundant. Yes, you are loved. Yes, you are whole, perfect, and complete. Know this and know that you are always surrounded by presence. And so it is. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Robert, and I'm your practitioner for today. As a congregation and as a center, we're reading Science of Mind on a daily basis. And sometimes you know how hard that can possibly be. And also, as most of you know, that I'm also a person that tries to find the easy way out of doing anything. So that's just part of my nature. And what happens, especially in ministerial school, I'm in my second year, I've got 2 more years to go. I'm the first one to blurt out something, and it is so obvious when I blurt it out, but to the consternation of my professors, they don't particularly care for that normally. One of my ministerial challenges is to put the writings and thoughts of our founder, Ernest Holmes, into a more everyday vernacular. I was even thinking of possibly writing the Cliff Notes for Science of Mind text. This past week, we've been reading about healing, the various conditions. And if you were here last week, you heard Ricky talk so elegantly on constipation, which was a very good talk and a very talk that was very binding. During this week, we've talked about and read about poisons, paralysis, asthma, and hay fever. And in today's Science of Mind text, we're working on what we call the nerve conditions, or those things that revolve around nerves. So what we are finding out through all of this reading is the one essence of this teaching is that our thoughts create our reality. So in his sermon today, Dr. Michael is going to talk about my vibrations attracting to me. At least that's what's on the August schedule. And what are vibrations? But they're just thoughts. They govern who we are, they govern our body and our mind, and they govern what actually attracts to us. So Ernest Holmes says in his philosophy, thought is the essential activity in the universe. It is the father of all action and the creator of all experience. We all automatically attract to ourselves that which we subjectively embody. Now, as I said earlier, one of my duties here, or at least responsibilities I feel as a ministerial student, is taking that and trying to translate it into something that I can understand. So we ask ourselves, what is subjectivity? So we're looking at what we call the subjective mind. And the subjective mind contains all of our thoughts together, not just my thoughts. All of my thoughts are in there, all of your thoughts are in there, plus all the thoughts from ever. All thoughts are dumped in this, what we call this universal subjectivity. Well, that's great, right? But how does this work? Guess what? You can touch into any one of those thoughts at any one time. Now remember, those thoughts aren't always positive thoughts. There are negative thoughts there. So that's how we bring and manifest some of those things that we don't really care to have in our life. Our loves, our hates, our fears, our mistakes, our hopes, our joys, these are all mental states which exist before we actually experience them. Thoughts are misshapen by our creative thought, and you know how creative we each can all be. There's a story about, written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, where a soldier is returning from war, and he's exhausted in the dark of night, comes and finds a secluded, somewhat abandoned house, he enters and sleeps there. In the morning, he found out it was the leper's bed that he was sleeping in. And on his way home, he finds little white spots popping up on his skin. When he arrived home, he told his family, who were horrified by this. So what they do is they put him into a small little cottage in the back of the house, not telling anyone about this person. He lives there for 20 years. He gets sick. They call the doctor, and the doctor comes out, and he finds out that it is not anything that has anything to do with leprosy, that the white spots are obviously just harmful or harmless discolorations, probably caused by, you guessed it, by fear. So what we think about and what we activate in our subjective mind brings forth and manifests in our life. So we have to ask ourselves, how do we get to these places in the first place? Certain thoughts produce certain things. Your thought can possibly even heal you if you use it correctly. The way I like to look at it is I don't look at it from preventing negative thoughts. I look at it as trying to always attract and think positive thoughts. So here from the book of Robert's Rules of Reality Check is a recipe for controlling our thoughts in order to arrive at truth. I call it the Ernest Holmes cocktail. So in a blender, mix the following. 1/4 cup steadfastness. Now if you read the label of this, it says, a harmonious life, good, real, and true truth, firm, unwavering mind. One infinite power for good. Avoid what others tell you, how to think, and the so-called lessons of history. Also, good for constipation. There you go, Ricky. Next ingredients. 1 jar, 8 ounces of good contemplation. It's a neutralizing factor for all thoughts. Think only good thoughts. Avoid negative news and negative judgment of others. Warning label, oh, this is great. It may act as an aphrodisiac. Next ingredients. 1/4 cup affirmative faith statement. It releases stress and tension. Start the day with positive thoughts. Next ingredients. 3 tablespoons previous thought release. This is an anxiety inhibitor, love and protection contributor, practice self-forgiveness. Says you would have thought this would be an aphrodisiac too. Could work. Okay. And the next ingredients is 3 tablespoons of future fear prohibitive. Enhances goodness. Don't worry about tomorrow. Live in the now. Warning label, may be habit forming. Okay. Mix well, pour over ice into a tall glass, sit back and relax. Chill out. Be prepared as this kicks in. James Allen, in his book, The Man Thinketh, our life is what our thought make it. A man will find that as he alters his thoughts towards things and other people will alter towards him. So let's take this time now to go within. Knowing that the vibration of spirit is ever present, as in the absolute, in the oneness, the infinite mind. And as each one here today attracts that vibration, we pause to be grateful for all that surrounds us. We are grateful for Reverend Michael and Reverend Doug for giving us guidance. We are especially grateful for Reverend Michael for his love and support during the paneling at Asilomar this past week of my ministerial homies. We now have 10 new ministers from the Holmes Institute Seaside campus. We are grateful to each and every person that is here to attest to their faith and their belief. We are grateful for the presence of Spirit in this very room. We know Spirit is surrounding all those who are unable to be with us due to reasons only known to Spirit. To those we send our love and affection, knowing Spirit is with them, moving through them, their experience with grace and with ease. And we especially keep in our prayers today Virginia and Jim Cummings and Donna Thomas. We are grateful for all those that make this service in this center, the Center for Spiritual Living in Palm Springs, a place to live and to live out our spirituality. We are grateful for this teaching that keeps us in our lives in flow, in harmony, and in balance. And as we move into a minute of silence, let us send our blessings to all humanity, seeking the peace found in our global heart vision.